Our second panel we'll be hearing from today, Ms. Brittany Diamond, the Associate Director of National Security and Foreign Affairs Directorate from the Veterans of Foreign Wars. I left my hat in my office. Mr. Michael Quinn, Chief Executive Officer of Higher Military and Tenova LLC. Dr. Abby Kinch, say it again? Kinch, Ph.D., Chief of Staff of Student Veterans of America. We've had you guys over a few times. Mr. Jim Lorraine, the President and CEO of America's Warrior Partnership, and Mr. Hernan Y. Prado, the founder and CEO of Workshops for Warriors. I'd like to welcome you all here to our second panel, and I'd ask you to please stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Let the record reflect all witnesses have answered in the affirmative. I now recognize Ms. Kinch for 5 minutes.
Chairman Van Orden, Ranking Member Levin, and members of the subcommittee, thank you for inviting Student Veterans of America to submit testimony on the topic of the Transition Assistance Program. I want to talk to you today from the perspective of a former student veteran representing the post-9/11 generation of veterans currently in classrooms across the country. While there have been some attempts to improve TAP, the program is still lacking, particularly when it comes to helping transitioning service members prepare to use their education benefits as a means to transition into civilian life. Primarily, this programmatic deficit is due to a lack of emphasis placed on the education portion of TAP, which has manifested culturally within units as well as impacted the decisions available when transitioning through higher education. First, the transition track of TAP is simply not sufficient for anyone entering higher education. Imagine a high school student sitting down with a guidance counselor to prepare for college. They often start 1, 2, sometimes 4 years out, and these visits are frequent, including a comprehensive assessment of majors, college selection, housing, financial aid, and more. TAP's education workshop provides service members with 2 days or online 240 minutes of counseling without individualized attention. The deficit brought by this disparity leaves service members and their families to make sometimes poor decisions that cost them time and money. Student veterans are more than twice as likely as traditional students to change their degree major because of ill-informed decisions or simple unknowns. They're also likely to incur debt, as more than half are married, more than half have children, 20% are single parents. While they are successful in the classroom, they often don't take advantage of opportunities outside of the classroom or on campus because they feel isolated by age and experience. If proper interventions started sooner and with more emphasis on education, degree major changes would be reduced, the GI Bill could be used on longer STEM degrees, and TA dollars could be more appropriately used to take courses that transfer or that are housed in the destination school. More holistically, student veterans find that isolation greatly contributed to transition stress. However, our survey feedback shows that a vast majority of student veterans felt TAP did not prepare them for these type of social and psychological struggles. Combating common feelings of isolation for student veterans with the camaraderie provided by an SVA chapter also exposes these students to the larger campus community. We've noted that student veterans who've engaged with their SVA chapter are more likely to engage with other areas of campus. Additionally, a 2016 survey found that most student veterans have some level of service-connected disability, though virtually none at the time were using disability offices or accommodations to support their academic experience. When that same study was repeated in 2022, the number of student veterans utilizing these services had increased to 26%. Not only are SVA chapters a front door to other campus organizations, but they serve as a gateway to needed campus and VA services. Most student veterans, unfortunately, don't discover their SVA chapter until late in their college career. If veteran service organizations such as SVA connected with transitioning service members during TAP or earlier, this timeline to discovering support is shortened, and we may see real impact that continues beyond immediate transition and education. Finally, the culture around the importance of TAP. There's an imbalance in the emphasis placed on transition tracks. Anecdotally and in response to surveys, some student veterans report that their unit's culture is unsupportive regarding TAP and education. Some service members do not understand the importance of the program because it's not stressed to them by their command, who themselves don't see TAP as important for transitioning service members, as was pointed to in the GAO report. The short optional track, the lack of involvement of the Department of Education in the career portion of TAP, and the minimal discussion of education opportunities post-service when compared to career opportunities demonstrates to everyone that higher education is not the intended destination for service members. Because of this, the education portion of TAP, noting that service members in large numbers are transitioning through higher education, must be improved. And not only should TAP begin earlier in the transition process, but it should be robust enough to follow a service member from the decision to separate through education and into a meaningful career. For SVA, transition services are not a bridge from one point to another, from inside the DoD to out, but through the entirety of the transition process to include all departments. Thank you, Chairman Van Orden, Ranking Member Levin, and the members of the subcommittee for this opportunity. I look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Dr. Kinch. I now recognize Mr. Crane for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate that. Thank you guys for coming today. As I told the last panel, this is a very important topic to me, and I thank you for all the work that you guys are doing on this issue. I want to start with Dr. Kinch. Did I pronounce that correctly? Thank you. All right. Does Student Veterans of America have any recommendation to the education track that could improve how transitioning service members use their GI eligibility and make sure to make the correct choice?
Yes. So thank you so much for that question. We have to start considering the education benefit as soon as someone decides to utilize tuition assistance while in service, because those credits will largely dictate where, how, and when someone can continue to use credits post-service or post-transition using the GI Bill. So if someone doesn't complete a degree using tuition assistance and they've gone somewhere with credits that we will say are largely untransferable, they've then wasted that money using tuition assistance and have to start over using their GI Bill. Student veterans largely go to four-year public universities, and so understanding the behavior of service members in higher education as well as veterans in higher education and understanding the transition there would be the first step. We do have a lot of ideas.
Okay. Can somebody, maybe we can start with you, Dr. Kinch, or anybody on this panel, help me understand what other opportunities are available for veterans who have paid into their GI Bill, who might not want to go to a four-year university, higher education, et cetera? Mr. Prado?
Vocational training programs that lead to nationally recognized credentials, I'd say, would be my number one pick. It's an easy way for people to get average starting salary jobs of $60,000 a year. And most importantly, it rebuilds America's manufacturing capability and readiness. Every single graduating class that I've had since 2008, I ask them the same question. When America goes to war again, ceilings are cut, and we need DoD facilities to rebuild everything that's hard and metal that goes overseas, I want you to report to your closest DoD facility to help rebuild our manufacturing infrastructure. Would anybody here object? In 15 years, I've yet to have a no. They are all people that have a clear purpose, which is why they joined the military. If you provide them compressed training, nationally recognized credentials, they're happy to engage and rebuild our manufacturing infrastructure.
Thank you. Dr. Kinch, real quick, is there any pushback from any of the VSOs up here on giving veterans more of a choice, more options on how to use their GI Bill?
Thank you for that. As far as I know, the options are extremely robust, and a majority of folks who enlist do so for the education benefits on the other side to obtain a college degree. You can use education benefits for a number of opportunities. Like my colleague said, vocational opportunities, you can get your pilot's license. There are a number of things that you can use those benefits for.
Just to put you on the spot, ma'am, can you run me through 5 or 6 of those if you know them off the top of your head?
I would be happy to get that to you after this hearing.
All right. Yeah, the reason I'm pushing and the reason I ask is because I'm big on choice. Like Mr. Prado, when I was getting out, I had the wise idea to start a bottle opening company of all things. and I was working out of my garage with a bunch of other active duty veterans. It's where I found out, sir, that you cannot make a corkscrew in the United States of America. It blew me away. All of them are made overseas. So I love what you're doing as far as trying to bring back manufacturing into this country. Unfortunately, I don't think it's a workforce issue. I think it's a politician issue and shipping a lot of our manufacturing overseas, which is very, very disheartening. But I do want to see veterans have the opportunity, when possible, to use their GI Bill, which they paid into, if they decide or that a 4-year higher education tract isn't what they're looking for. Mr. Lauren, go ahead, ma'am.
I just wanted to clarify, the current iteration as well as the post 9/11 GI Bill are not paid into.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Just really, I brought up apprenticeships. Apprenticeships are opportunities. They're a GI Bill-like program. The problem is that the housing stipend decreases over time, makes it unattractive.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome, Mr. Craig. I appreciate it greatly, and thank you, Ranking Member Levin, for correcting that. Apparently I'm a little older than you, Doc, because I swear I heard VA. Son of a. Hey, but we'll sit down and talk about this, and I think you'll see the clarity of thought there.
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you all. I want to thank you all for coming. I really do. This is an incredibly important topic, and you guys are doing the work, and gals, you are doing the work, and I'm just so proud of you. We owe each other a debt that does not get repaid. It simply does not. And if we can, through our work up here, with your work out there, and with you guys in the back, and I was yelling at you, sir, from the DOD, if all of us can get together and prevent one veteran from committing suicide, and preventing one veteran from winding up sleeping in a bush, then all of this is worth it. So I want to thank you very much. I want you also to understand that we're not done with TAP. We will be working, bless you, we will be working diligently to make sure that we can get the best product to the most amount of people, to our brothers and sisters that have served this country. So again, thank you very much. And with that, Ranking Member Levin, do you have any closing comments?
I just want to thank everybody for the work they do each and every day that's often overlooked. It's incredibly important, and we're grateful for it. And I thank the chairman for his outstanding hearing today.
All right. I ask unanimous consent that all members may have 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks and include extraneous materials. Without objection, so ordered. This hearing stands adjourned.